Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Marilyn MM, the baby boomer booktuber, and I'm so happy to be back talking to you. I've really missed this time that we have together. As you know, I've been to Paris, or some of you know, and to Provence. And I've also been to Shakespeare and Company in Paris, the bookstore. And my last video was just a 5-minute little tour of the bookstore that my daughter took. Let me just tell you, my daughter loves to take pictures. She lives for pictures. She's a wonderful photographer. And it's been really fun, you know, seeing the pictures that she's taken and the videos that I said, oh, I didn't know you were taking video. But anyway, this is basically a book haul of the few books that I've taken, that I've bought in the Shakespeare bookstore. If you saw the video, if you watched the video of the bookstore, of me in the bookstore, you know how crowded that store was. And I don't do well in crowded spaces, but for some reason, I didn't have any anxiety going into the bookstore or the many crowded places that we went to, which I'm very grateful for, because you know, crowds aren't my thing. But Shakespeare and Company was so crowded that you know, I wasn't able to buy all the books that I wanted to buy. But before I get into the books that I did buy, I wanted to share with you a few photos. Why does one go to Paris? Many reasons. It's a beautiful city. It's the city of lights. But there's another reason that people go to Paris, and that's to eat. And I wanted to share with you some pictures of the reasons that I wanted to go to Paris so much, and my daughter did too. The food and the art. So I'm going to start with my daughter's favorite, and I'm going to have these pictures on the right. This was my daughter's favorite meal, and it was an entree, which she got mixed up with and thought the entree was the main course. But it was, she said it's rice balls. And it was the best restaurant that we went to and the smallest. And it was called La Mine. So if you're ever in Paris, please go there. It's a tiny restaurant and it's really, really beautiful. Well, the food is beautiful. And she did take up some pictures of the waiter and the waitresses, and they were pretty good looking too. My next picture right here is a croissant. Not just any croissant. It's a Paris croissant. Let me just tell you, I don't eat butter, okay? I'm not supposed to eat butter. Yet, when I was in Paris, I ate tons of butter. And I didn't gain weight until I came back, but that's another story. So the croissants were so wonderful. They were like flaky and buttery, yet not greasy. I don't know how they do it. I mean, it's layers and layers of deliciousness. I wanted you to, the next picture is the Mona Lisa, but I wanted to show you this picture because I can't walk like, my daughter walked 10 miles in the Louvre in Paris, and I can't do that. So she pushed me along in a wheelchair that they have for people with mobility issues, because I had my disability pass, and they were very pleasant and were able to give me a wheelchair so my daughter could wheel me around, because she wanted to take pictures of every single painting in the Louvre, which, well, it's not possible, but she did her best. But when we got to the Mona Lisa, I mean, there was crowds behind like a bar, a separation bar away. But because I was in a wheelchair, I was able to go right in front and see the Mona Lisa up close and personal. And it was marvelous to be able, not only to be away from the crowds, but to, you know, every part of the Mona Lisa, you think you know, you see why it's such a famous picture, because you think she's smiling, and then you think she's smirking, and then you know, I think she was smiling, you know. I think that was her, you know, smile. But I don't know if it's a theory, but I think it was because she was a little uncomfortable. And that was, when you're uncomfortable, you know, you smile, but it doesn't come out as a smile. But that's just my theory. Now, if you're in Paris, the next picture is pizza. They have the greatest Italian food, most wonderful, delicious Italian food. And my daughter was reluctant. I had researched the restaurants, and she was reluctant to eat. She said, more bread? Well, that was one of her favorite restaurants. And I think it was called Arrivederci Pizza, in case you're going. And the next picture is just all the bread that they keep on giving you in restaurants. And I would always ask for a salad. No matter what the entree was, I needed to eat salad. And they always had one ready. The next picture is, of course, Vincent van Gogh. And this is his self-portrait. Everybody's probably seen this before. But until you've seen Vincent van Gogh's paintings, even his self-portrait in person, you can't get a really true picture of the genius that was Vincent van Gogh. And next picture, there I am at the Eiffel Tower. We weren't able, it was very crowded. Not too many Americans in Paris, but we weren't able to get a cruise in time for our, I think we were there 8 days. So we were forced to go to another crowded place at night. And I'm not sure, there's two places where you go to see the Eiffel Tower up close. And this was one of them. And there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of selling going on of alcohol and little trinkets, but it wasn't too bad. It was cold though. The next picture is a little village in the Luberon, or the Luberon. These are villages that are in Provence, and we stayed in Avignon, and this is it says it's the Red Village, and it reminds us of, they say, of the southwest of Colorado. And there's a lot of reasons why this particular village is this color, and it has to do with the different. It's an old village, and it's a, I don't know if it's a perched village. We have pictures of those too that I'm not going to share with you right now. Don't worry. And yeah, so the Romans, they made a factory near this village, and the way they put the clay and the time of the factory and time of the kind of clay that they used turned this village into a rustic red village, which was very interesting how they told us about it. The next picture is the Louvre. We spent a lot of time there. And the next picture is the Ile de Cité, where all the you know, the big monuments are, the Louvre, we saw that they're fixing up the cathedral, Notre Dame, that was burned. And I think that the whole city is being like redone, I think, for the Olympics, because they're really, you know, there's like a lot of fixing being, you know, done in Paris and even in other places. And I'll end with this last picture of me and my daughter in our little Airbnb getting ready to go out to dinner. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now on to the books. Well, let me first tell you that every book they stamp in the Shakespeare and Company, except I don't see the stamp here. That's funny. It has beautiful beginning papers though. I wonder if it has end papers too. So Yeah, it does have nice end papers. This book I've seen on BookTube, and it's a satire of mysteries. Your Guide to Not Getting Murdered in a Quaint English Village. This is not the kind of book that I would ordinarily buy, but I don't know, something about it called to me. So when I go into a bookstore, as complicated as the Shakespeare Shakespeare and Company in Paris was, I always have my little, first I go to the mysteries. Then I go to World War II nonfiction and history. Then I usually go to the literary fiction. But I didn't get that far because it was so crowded. I mean, really crowded if you saw the last video. So what is this about? Okay, this is basically it's a graphic satire about not getting murdered in an English village. And it begins with a quote by Arthur Conan Doyle that I found pretty funny. It is my belief, Watson, founded upon my experience, that the lowest and vilest alleys in London do not present a more dreadful record of sin than does the smiling and beautiful countryside. Isn't that great? So it shows you the village. It's basically a graphic novel, but it's not, I mean, a graphic book, nonfiction book. But it goes into the different people, the village church, the churchyard, the pub, the village shop. This is funny. The village constable. We haven't had a murder in this village since. Oh dear, there's been another one, and here he is. So I thought I'd get a kick out of this book. So, and then I started looking for serious books. And I've heard, this is a Agatha Christie that I haven't read yet, The Pale Horse. And in fact, I've heard it a lot on BookTube since I started. And I'm collecting, not in order like some people are, but I'm collecting books that Agatha Christie's that I haven't read yet. And The Pale Horse, what is it about? When an elderly priest is murdered, the killer searches the victim so roughly that his already ragged cassock is torn in the process. What was the killer looking for? And what had a dying woman confided to the priest on her deathbed only a few hours earlier? So I'm looking forward to reading this and enjoying it. And the other Agatha Christie book that I got, because it really had a nice cover too, is a short story collection. It's called The Listerdale Mystery. So it's 12 tantalizing cases. The curious disappearance of Lord Listerdale, a newlywed's fear of her ex-fiancé, a strange encounter on a train, a domestic murder investigation, a wild man's sudden personality change, a retired inspector's hunt for a murderess, a woman's impersonation of a duchess, etc., etc. I'm not going to read every single, but I've never bought a short story collection of Agatha Christie, so I wanted to start here because I heard this was a good one. Okay, then I went a little bit older to a classic, Raymond Chandler. I started reading Raymond Chandler quite a few years ago, and don't think I've read Lady in the Lake. And this is a beautiful new cover. It has, I'll show it to you, but it has like stars and a lake and a red house, and the way you hold it up this way I thought was really smart. So what is it about? I didn't know. And here is the Shakespeare and Company stamp. Yay! So, Lady in the Lake. Everything was quiet and sunny and calm. No cause for excitement whatever. It's only Marlowe finding another body. He does it rather well by now. Murder-a-day Marlowe, they call him. So I think his name is Philip Marlowe, and he's like, you know, real rough and tough guy, always ready with his gun. So Derris Kingsley's wife is missing. She sent a note saying she'd run away to Mexico with a hunk of meat called Chris Lavery. Only Lavery isn't game. He denies all knowledge of it. P.I. Philip Marlowe working the case, but it's getting complicated between the corrupt cops, the bodies lying at the bottom of lakes or under dripping showers, and his encounters with liars, operators, and drunks. There's probably some truth to be found, as long as he can stay alive long enough to find it. Chandler's best novels carry the crime story to levels of artistry that have rarely been matched. So, yeah, I love this classic. It's a Penguin classic, which I don't have many of, so I'm excited to add it to my very minuscule collection, and I'm excited to get into it. Another tidbit that I wanted to share with you is that I almost bought another Lady in the Lake that was another mystery, and it's a modern mystery, and I forgot the author's name, but I'll have it down below. And I wanted to show you both Ladies in the Lake, but I decided that I was going to get that one out of the library because the author is not a favorite of mine, and like I said, even her name escapes me right now. But I'll have it somewhere up in the cards or below, so you'll know who I'm talking about. She's a woman PI. Her character is, her narrator is, and I think she works out of Baltimore, so you probably know who it is. I know it starts with an L, so it's coming to me, it's coming to me. And then outside, as I showed you, they have discounted books, and I was just telling Ollie from Criminali that he didn't like Lady on the Train, and neither did I. And I think we're the only two people on BookTube who don't like her. Yet, I want to try her again because I think that for a debut novel, she really hit it big. I didn't hate the book. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. And so what is it? It says from the best-selling author Girl on the Train. So what is it about? Julia, it's me. I need you to call me back. Please, Julia, it's important. In the last days before her death, Nell Abbott called her sister. Jules didn't pick up the phone, ignoring her plea for help. Now Nell is dead. They say she jumped, and Jules has been dragged back to the one place she hoped she had escaped for good, to care for the teenage girl her sister left behind. But Jules is afraid, so afraid, of her long-buried memories, of the old mill house, of knowing that Nell would never have jumped. And most of all, she's afraid of the water and the place they call the drowning pool. So this sounds different than Girl on the Train. So yeah, I'm going to read it. I bought it, and like I said, it has the Shakespeare and Company stamp. Okay, so I went into the World War II section, and it was crowded. It was a small section, but it was so crowded. But I did find a book. It's called The Lost Cafe Schindler, and it's by Meriel Schindler. So it's not Oscar Schindler, and yet it is. It is. This is going, you know, this is a present day story. So what does it say? One family, two wars, and the search for truth. An extraordinary and compelling book of reckonings. A journey across a long, complex, and deeply painful arc of history, grippingly told. A wonderful melding of the personal and the political, the family and the historical. So I'm thinking this is a sort of memoir. And Kurt Schindler was an impossible man, sort of like Oscar Schindler. His daughter Meriel spent her adult life trying to keep him at bay. Kurt had made extravagant claims about their family history. Were they really related to Franz Kafka and Oscar Schindler of Schindler's List fame? Or Hitler's Jewish doctor, Dr. Bloch? What really happened on Kristallnacht, the night that the Nazis beat Kurt's father half to death and ransacked the family home. So when Kurt died in 2017, Meriel felt compelled to resolve her mixed feelings about him and to solve the mysteries he had left behind. So she starts with photos and papers found in Kurt's isolated cottage. And she embarked on a journey of discovery, taking her to Austria, Italy, and the USA. And she reconnects family members scattered by feuding and war. She pieces together an extraordinary story taken in 2 centuries, 2 world wars, and a family business, the famous Cafe Schindler. I thought this was a different take on World War II history, of Holocaust history, and yeah, I'm here for it. So that was my haul at the Paris Shakespeare and Company. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be almost 2 years doing booktube, and I'd like for more people to join me. And I thank all my friends who've kept in touch with me during my time out. Like I said, I've had really bad jet lag, and I'm back. I say I'm 80% back. Yeah, you know, we traveled like 10 time zones. From Hawaii, 12 o'clock a.m., Paris, 12 o'clock p.m. And that's going to take a toll on you when you get older. But I'm back, and I have a lot of changes planned for my channel, and I hope you're there with me. If you're new, thank you for subscribing. For the like 3 people who've subscribed since I've been gone, I appreciate all of you. And please like, comment. I really love to hear your comments. And to my friends on BookTube, I'm back. So you're stuck with me. And until we meet again, all of my friends here, aloha.